cannonballs or extra large gobstoppers, but they are in fact bowling balls. And the idea is to bowl the ball down the lane and to knock down all the pins, and there's quite a knack to doing it. Showing us just how it's done on Sports Bag today is our expert, Tina Darville. Tina, what exactly is 10-pin bowling all about?
It's about making 2 shots in one frame. The idea is to get 10 pins down with one. If there are any left, we then bowl at the spare, which are the remaining pins.
Now, it's actually quite difficult. There's quite a knack to doing it, because I thought it would be easy, but it isn't. Is it a social sport or is it more of a competitive sport?
It's very much a mixture of the two. It begins socially with families or friends. It can then go on to be competitive. We start with junior leagues and having all sorts of incentives for them. They eventually go on to play tournaments.
What age can you start? Because surely the balls must be quite heavy for little children.
You can actually start at whatever age. We actually have a 2-year-old in Scotland. Yes, he plays with his granddad apparently.
That's lovely.
Yes, the weights start from £6, so they're not too heavy. They can actually start by rolling the ball rather than throwing.
And how popular is it? Is it really growing in this country?
Very much so. We have new centres opening all the time. Currently we have 145 in this country, so it's doing pretty well.
And what about the clothes that you wear? How important is the gear?
They just have to be very comfortable. Don't encourage jeans for the juniors to come through.
Now, all the computers that are in here, it's all very high-tech. That must really make life a lot easier.
It's great. It's come a long way. Nowadays, anybody can come in and all the scoring's done automatically for them.
All right, well, let's go and take a closer look at the pins.
Okay.
Tina, this isn't a normal place to be sat in a bowling centre, but I came up here to have a closer look at the pins. Now, how exactly do you knock them down?
It's by actually hitting the right place in the pins. We call it the pocket. The ball actually only takes 4 pins. It actually hits 4 pins. And the rest of the pins actually go down like a deck of cards. They're all pushed by the other pins.
And then they all fall down. So you head for the first pin.
That's right. It's the head pin, slightly right to the head pin or slightly left.
And if someone wants to start doing this, how do they go about doing it?
If they go down to their local centre, they ask their NAYBC, which is the National Association of Youth Bowling Clubs, they will give them all the help they need.
Lovely. Thanks very much. I think it's about time we got out of the way. Right, we're back at the top now, Tina. I know I've got to knock all the pins down. What is the best way of bowling to achieve that?
Right, Russ is going to demonstrate, so I'll talk you through. Right, he's got a very good knee bend there. His right leg's out to balance him. And a good follow through there, which took him right to the head pin.
That was very good. And I noticed that he actually had his leg across.
Yes, that's because he had a good knee bend and his right leg came round to balance him out. Well, with his right arm following through to the pins.
So does it help to go down as low as you possibly can?
There's no necessity for that. A good knee bend's more important with the back straight, not to bend from the waist.
And how straight does the arm have to be? How important is that?
It should be very straight for a beginner and indeed when you improve. But to begin, if you actually follow through, the ball should go in that direction. If you follow through to the left, that's where it'll go.
That's what the tendency is. You tend to let your arm go and then the ball will go down. What are the side bits called?
They're called gutters, actually.
Gutters? So that's what you've not got to do.
Yes, you don't want to hit those.
Well, I think I'll have a go at doing it now. Okay. And I'll try and follow what Russell did.
Right.
Okay. And let's see how I get on.
That's it. Nice and relaxed. That's good.
Oh, it's going to go into the gutter. Well, we've seen exactly what bowling entails and all the different techniques you can do. I'm now chatting to 4 young bowlers. So, Janet, what age did you start bowling?
9.
Why did you start bowling?
Well, my sister started bowling, and one day my dad took me and I started to enjoy it, so now I go.
Did you do a lot of practice?
Yeah.
And what about you, Gemma? What age did you start?
7.
And do you enjoy it?
Yes.
What do you find fun about it?
When you get strikes and spares.
How heavy is the ball? Do you find that difficult?
Sometimes.
But lots of practice?
Yes.
Richard, how old are you?
7.
And how long have you been bowling?
6 months.
And do you enjoy it?
Yes.
What about the ball? Because you're quite little, isn't it a bit heavy for you?
A bit heavy.
But you have to do again lots of practice.
Yes.
Now Michael, what made you start bowling? How did you hear about it?
Well, my dad bowls quite frequently, and my brother's in the England under-23 squad, so I want to follow in their footsteps.
Oh, you've got a lot to follow then, haven't you?
Yeah.
What do you think about the weights of the balls? What sort of weight do you have?
I have a 12-pound ball, and well, they've just recently done a 6-pound ball, so that's good for the youngsters.
And tell me, how exactly do you go about bowling?
Well, my ball curls naturally, so I throw it over to the right, and it normally, or hopefully, curls in to the pocket.
And what about all this high-tech stuff and all these computers? Does that make it easier?
That's very good because it's much easier because it does it all on its own instead of writing it down yourself.
Lovely. It's now time to have a look at Tina's top tips.
Okay, my first tip is that you must always find a ball that fits. Very important. Fingers mustn't be too tight. We use those 2 fingers, and the thumb hole must be comfortable too. Shouldn't be too heavy, just feel nice and comfortable. The next tip is you must hold the ball with 2 hands at the side of the body. If you hold it in front of you, you're only going to have to move it out there at some point anyway. The third tip is always walk in a straight line. If you wander across the approach, you will actually not be in line with your target. And the fourth tip is accuracy is better than speed. If you go too fast, you'll force your arm swing. Your arm will probably end up over there somewhere. And if you practice those, you're going to be a great player. So,
let's recap on Tina's top tips. Firstly, find a ball that fits. Hold the ball with 2 hands at the side of the body and always walk in a straight line. And remember, accuracy is better than speed. I'm quite getting into this. I think with a bit of practice, I may strike it lucky. See you for another sports bag soon. Bye.
Oh, he's gently persuading him to go back to school because that's where this week's special mystery guest went for this week's vacation report. Just take a look at this.
He was a very popular boy when he was here. He used to play rugger like a fiend.
I will remember taking him on out into Switzerland with his classmates.
He was always a happy lad, very good at music.
Oh yes, I'll never forget, what's his name? What is his name? Yes, a fine chap he was.
Yes, I remember him very well. He was quite interested in history, but did not have a memory for dates.
Well, we've been learning about 17th century London Form 2. I wonder, can anyone give me the date of the Great Fire of London? What about you, Sharpe?
1661.
No, not quite. Form 2, can you tell them?
1666!
Now, Sharpe, an easy one, just for you. Kylie and Jason have had lots of hits separately. What's the only #1 hit they've had together?
That's especially for you.
Good boy, well done.
Now, I first came to Alpha when I was 4 years old, it's about 5 years ago or so, and, hey, what are you? And obviously some of you are a little bit older now, sort of 7, 8 or 9, but what about the teachers? I've seen so many in the staff room who are still exactly the same. And if you add all the years that they've been working at this school together, it works out to something like 150 combined years of service to this school. That is quite a lot though, isn't it, really? Imagine being here for 150 years and not getting a break. And another thing, Form 2. When I was invited back here today to come to my old school, which is always a very nice thing to be invited back to, I thought it was to boss you about and be the teacher. But no, I'm going to be working in the kitchen. My old school custard, eh? I think it's the original.
Now we're going to get you to do some work, Pat.
Right. Where's the gloves? I need the gloves. The gloves?
Get any gloves in here?
Oh, right, okay. Here we go. Oh, it's boiling! Hold on. Well, that's me all sorted out. Shame about the other kids, really. Well, how did I enjoy my day back at school? Same as a normal day, because I'm always here to pick up my little boy, Nicky. But it was kind of special. See you soon.
Ah, nice one, little Nicky. And see and get your dad to get his hair cut the next time he goes back to school. And you can catch Friday for the second programme in his new series of Funhouse on ITV.
Well, somebody else who can put away